have some connection problems here. Okay, let's look in the other rooms. The necklace should be in the bedroom.
Oh, fuck. Oh, you got me. Oh, you got me, you son of a bitch. This is Miss of Aiden, or as it was called when I bought it, House on the Hill. Apparently, they recently changed their name after being threatened by a lawsuit by Hasbro. Seems reasonable one might easily mistake this early access game on Steam with a board game called Betrayal on House on the Hill. That issue aside, this game could easily be described as an indie haunted house. That'd be an accurate description, but also, I feel it's a pretty decent haunted house. The hook on this game is that you're this guy who's on his one last job for my family, going through this haunted house to rob it, with this guy on the radio guiding you through. Once you make it through the house, the game will rewind you back to the front yard to make another attempt through a different path of the house. Most of the assets in this game are pretty nice looking, with the enemy models being exempt from that praise. If I were to guess, this is one of those games where the developers bought a bunch of pre-made assets from the Unity store to craft the game out of. That statement's not intended to immediately sell the game down the river. What they made mostly worked for me. A few of the moments of creativity kind of hint to me that the three people at Step Hair Studio cared about what they were making. The gameplay formula is the tried and true walking simulator fare, where your interactions are mostly limited to turning a valve, taking a picture, or picking something up. For some, that'll be the immediate turn-off, but for me, it works for this type of experience. On the story front, you start the game getting prepped for the job by your friend on the radio as Izzy assists you in clumsily disabling the alarm in front of the house. He guides you through the house as you look for the Heart of Fog, some giant jewel allegedly in the owner's possession. You eventually make it to the owner's study, and you put in the code to the safe and snag the jewel. You're feeling good, not so fast. Someone knows you're here and closes the door on you. The room starts to fill with gas, and you're forced to execute your backup plan. Sheer panic. It also makes me wonder, how often do people try and rob this guy? He's literally got his room already prepped with gas. I don't know. Just a thought. After finding an escape route, you end up in the owner's subterranean dungeon. That's perfect. After inevitably dealing with the threats down below, you find an escape out and make it to the surface. Time to rewind. From here, you end up back on the front lawn and are guided down a bit different path through the house, each time changing what type of threat you engage with and having a slightly different mechanic to work with. The next area, you will find a camera that will change the environment when you take a picture of it. I found it interesting to take a picture of a painting and watch it warp into a much darker version of itself. There's one where you take a picture of it and it just becomes a woman smiling, and that might have been the scariest one for me. There's a segment where your flashlight breaks and the only thing you have left for light is the flash of that camera, and the sound effects of the camera add immensely to the atmosphere. I really enjoy it. It's the one moment where I really felt like the sound did a really exceptional job in this game, because it's mostly stark and quiet. Upon returning again to another pass, you're guided to the probably what I would consider the most visually interesting area, but it's probably the most at least interesting gameplay wise. The whole experience took me about 2 hours to complete, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Give it a shot if these types of spooky atmospheric games interest you, even if they're more on rails and don't offer a ton of interactivity. On a final note, there's this segment where you're locked in this woman's bedroom. I found photos in the room with an extra door in the wall that's no longer there, one with a ladder that takes you to an attic, and one with a light coming out of the attic from the exterior of the house. So they're definitely hinting at something's in the attic. When one of my interactions led to spooky noises bouncing around, I assumed they were above me in the attic. Now, this is not the game's fault. The game wasn't doing a bad job of propagating the sound, but it was a case of me just assuming where that sound was going to come from. Watch how long it takes for me to realize there's a chest bouncing around my feet.